Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for making it out to this informational session. I'm going to try and keep it quick, but also informative, since I know folks are probably wanting to eat lunch and have lots of things to do. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, yeah, just a quick overview of what this is going to be. Talk a little bit about the Green Action Center and the challenge itself. We'll do a brief walkthrough of Go Manitoba, which is our platform that we use to run the commuter challenge. We'll go through some other coordinator resources that we have available, and then we'll have some time for questions. And of course, a thank you to our sponsors who make this event possible. So the Green Action Center, if you're not super familiar with what we do, Winnipeg-based environmental nonprofit, but we are serving all of Manitoba. So we have a couple different program areas you can see below. So active and safe routes to school, First Nations waste minimization, composting, all that fun stuff. And the Commuter Challenge falls under our Workplace Commuter Options program, which is the program that I am affiliated with. I should have also said at the beginning, my name's Lilja Best, and I am with the Workplace Commuter Options program at Green Action Center. So a little bit about the Commuter Challenge. This is actually technically a national event, but the Green Action Center serves as sort of the coordinator for this event in Manitoba. Um, Manitoba is kind of the only province that participates in a super meaningful sense. There are certainly other provinces that participate, but Manitoba tends to be the biggest, and we often win the sort of um, inter-province element of it. But Green Action Center is really focused on like Manitoba. We coordinate Manitoba. We have our own platform that we use for it. And we do sort of all the stuff for it within the province. So really the whole point of the challenge is just to encourage people to commute in more active and sustainable ways. It's really just meant to provide like a fun incentive for people to get out and try different modes, kind of show how easy it can be to make that switch and that it can be really fun too. And so we really hope that what people take out of the challenge is kind of a willingness to adopt those modes kind of long term going forward. So in 2025, we had 156 participating workplaces. We had just over 1,300 participants, just over 209,000 kilometers logged, and almost 40,000 tons of CO2 emissions diverted. And so we are really hoping to do even better than that this year. So I'm gonna jump into our Go Manitoba demo here. Stop sharing. Go. All right. So, if you are the workplace coordinator for your workplace, the first thing that you're going to want to do in terms of setting up the commuter challenge for your colleagues is going to be to create a team. So you may have already done this, you might not have. It's really quite simple. So you're just gonna, this will be the home page that you'll sort of land on when you first log in to Green Action or to Go Manitoba, sorry. Every once in a while, we get this is sort of the most recent version of this interface. Every once in a while, it'll sort of boot you onto the old one. And if you just refresh your browser, you'll end up here. So don't panic if you log in and you're like, this looks way different than it did in the video. Just give your page a refresh and it should fix it for you. So then you're going to go into this challenges tab right here. Click on that. You'll see here it'll show you what challenges are coming up. So of course we want the commuter challenge, but just a quick plug for Bike Week, which is the week after the commuter challenge. So if you're a passionate cyclist or somebody who would like to cycle more, feel free to look into some of Bike Week stuff. They got some great events going on. So yeah, you'll just click on commuter challenge. That's going to bring you automatically into this info section where you can just see a little bit about the challenge itself. But what you're going to want is this leaderboard section here. So we're going to go into there. Now, because I've already joined a team, I've joined our Green Action Center team here. Um, that's what it'll show up for me. But if I were to leave this team, I'll end up at this section here. So if your workplace coordinator wanted to create a team, going to click Create Team. Really simple to just put your team name. You might just put, if there's just one team from your organization, you can just straight up put, your organization name, or you can put a, fun play on words. But ideally, you want it to be something that is easy for folks who are looking for your team to recognize it as your team. So whether that's a fun name and you just sort of send out an email, let people know what to look for, that's totally fine too. And then you can use this description section to add any more information. Um, say you have different teams, say you want to kind of do a head-to-head thing in your office and do sort of like different branches having their own teams. You might put the team name here and then like a description of like, this is the accounting department team or something like that. And so once you have whatever information you want to put in here, you just click Create Team and you're good to go. That your team has been created. It will now be findable for other people. So if you're trying to send other people in to join your team, they're going to go to the same spot. They're going to go into challenges, they're going to go into leaderboards, and they're just going to click Join Team here. So now I can see all the teams that are up so far. I want to join, my workplace, Green Action Center. I just click it right there. It's going to bring up a little bit of information about the team. Um, and I just click join. And you can see over here, I get this little join successfully um, window. So that's all about how to join a team. That's sort of the key thing to get yourself set up. So when the challenge week actually comes around and you're wanting to log your trips, that's what we're going to go through now. So in order to log your trips, you're going to go into this log section here on the left. If you're doing this on a phone, like on your phone browser, this menu that's on the left here appears on the bottom of your screen. But on a desktop, it's going to show up on the left here. So you're just going to go into log and you're just going to click log a trip. So let's say that I biked to work today. So that's today's date. Let's say I biked there and home. You can, if you want for your own information to put in what time, that's totally great. You don't have to. It's going to automatically select my most traveled route. If you want to change any of these, just like go ahead and click in here and you can pick other addresses. You can just search in there for whatever address you want to put. It'll automatically calculate the distance for you. Say I did this route, but I took the scenic way. And so I want to change. It was actually closer to, 2.5 kilometers. I can just do that right in here. I can just change that number. That's fine. Um, then I just click save. Oh, whoops. I forgot to click a date. I just click save. And it's automatically added to my trip log here. It means it's automatically adding towards my team's kilometer total. If I realized, oh, you know what? Actually, I only biked to work today and then I got a ride home or something like that. I can just go in, delete this trip if I need to, and the first one still stays there. Um, and say I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, I did the math and it was really closer to 2 kilometers rather than 2.5. Again, it's not a huge deal, but if you really feel strongly that you want to fix it, um, you can go in and edit. It's super easy. There's a couple other features in here that folks might be interested in or might ask you about if they're kind of poking around. This pools tab is where you can find other folks who are, if you're looking for carpools, that's sort of the main function of Go Manitoba is to find carpool partners. Um, you can go in here and you can put your route and you can see other people who are doing similar routes. And you have the option to reach out and message them and say, it looks like we drive a similar route on a similar schedule. Maybe we want to meet up for coffee and see if we are interested in carpooling with each other. Um, so yeah, if anybody's sort of curious about what that is, they can also reach out to us if they want more information. And that's really sort of the key points that you're going to need in Go Manitoba. You also have resources here, which has some information about how to use Go Manitoba, and this kind of like a neat function down here that calculates over time, how many grams of CO2 you've saved, how many kilometers you've traveled, how many trips you've taken, which is kind of neat. So we'll go back to our trusty PowerPoint here. Google slide deck, I suppose it is. Okay. So hopefully you saw last week that I sent out a bunch of resources for workplace coordinators. So there's a resource guide, some posters. We still have physical posters in our office. So if you would like any of those, feel free to send me an email. I sent around on that sort of blog post that I had linked to has these social media graphics that you can download if you would like to sort of spread the word on social media about the commuter challenge. We would certainly appreciate that. Um, we have the Go Manitoba user guide and a video that goes through what I just went through, but in a much shorter, like it's like a 5-minute video that covers how to join a team and how to log your trips. So if you have some folks who would like a bit of a refresher, feel free to send that to them and it'll walk you through it. We have some email templates if you're like me and maybe spend too long, rereading your emails and thinking about them before you send them and just wish that somebody would write them for you. We've done that, and you can feel free to use those, personalize them as much as you'd like. Um, and then the prize list is also available in that resource package that I sent out. And if there's anything else that would be helpful, this is my first year coordinating the commuter challenge. So I'm certainly interested in, I don't necessarily always know what is the most helpful to folks. So I've tried to put together, what I thought would be useful if I was in your position. Um, but if there's anything else that I've missed that you're like, oh, actually, this would make my life a lot easier, feel free to send me an email and I will try my best to get that to you. And just a couple points of additional information. So backdating trips is something you can totally do. As we saw in Commuter Challenge, you get to choose what date you're logging a trip for. The one thing is that you can't backdate a trip or you can't log a trip for a date before you had a Go Manitoba account. So if I made my Go Manitoba account today, it's not going to let me log a trip for this past Sunday because I didn't have an account this past Sunday. Um, so ideally, if you can get folks to make their Go Manitoba accounts before the challenge starts, um, that's ideal. If just doesn't happen and somebody comes to you on, a Tuesday and says, "Oh, it won't let me log my trips. I made my account today and I'm trying to log my commute yesterday." Um, like that's fine. Just tell them to log it under Tuesday. You can log like more than 2 commutes a day. Um, so just tell them to put the kilometers under there. Or like that's fine. That happens. We're more interested in people feeling like they can get involved, than feeling like they can't participate because, they didn't make an account, before the challenge started. I've also had some folks ask me, for a little bit more information about what we would consider like an eligible trip. So we're really focused on any type of commute. So that can include to work, but that's also like, if you have a doctor's appointment that you, walk to instead of driving, or if you, take your bike down to go get groceries instead of driving. We're all for that. Like, go ahead and count that as a commute. Because that's really what the challenge is about. It's about driving less, it's about commuting sustainably and actively in sort of all aspects of our life. As a general rule, we try not to log just sort of general physical activity. So if you're just going for a walk because you like a walk, that's great, and we super encourage you to do that. That's not technically really what we would consider an eligible trip for sort of this challenge. But again, like we're not laying down the law on that either. Like, if that's the only way that folks can participate, say they have no choice but to drive to work, but they really want to participate, um, in the challenge, and this is the best way for them to do it, fine. Um, And then contacted support during the challenge. So I unfortunately am not going to be working the week of the challenge itself. I will actually be out of province attending my convocation. So I know that's a little bit frustrating for you folks, and I apologize. If I could move the convocation, I would, but I do not have this power. Um, so if you can send an email to gohappy@greenactioncenter.ca if you're having any issues during the challenge itself. Um, that would be great. That email is monitored by multiple people on our sustainable transportation team, and they have lots of great knowledge about the commuter challenge that they will be happy to share and happy to help you with. And then one last item is the logging deadline. Um, so don't worry about having all your trips logged by midnight the week of the challenge ends. You will be able to log your trips until June 12th. So if you realize, oh, I forgot to log Friday's commute, the Tuesday after the challenge ends, you can still go in and do that until June 12th, that Friday. And then yeah, after that, we'll go through the process of awarding prizes and stuff like that. I'm seeing that we have a couple items in the Q&A, but I think I have one more slide and then I will start taking questions. So we encourage you to promote sustainable transportation beyond the challenge. There are lots of ways to do this. You can become a network partner on Go Manitoba. If you're interested in that, that basically just means you're having access to your own sort of version of Go Manitoba for your workplace specifically, to help connect people with sustainable transportation options. Feel free to reach out to me. We're gonna have a new rewards program for Go Manitoba launching this summer, which is exciting. Um, we do, other programs and incentives like Commuter Challenge throughout the year. And we also, if you're in office wanting to do a bit of a, survey or a study on your workplace about how people are getting to work, how people could potentially, what programs you might be able to offer, programs and incentives you might be able to offer folks to sort of prompt some behavior change around commuting. We also do that kind of work. So feel free to reach out to us, either me directly or gohappy@greenactioncenter.ca. Okay, and now we've gotten to the question section. I'm going to hop into the Q&A here. Will the poster be available in French? We do not have translation folks on site at Green Action Center. Um, But let me look into what options we have in terms of getting that to you. So the short answer is I will look into that and I will get back to you. Um, Also have a question here around whether telework is still a acceptable commuting option for the challenge. Yes, it is. We consider it, it's not driving, it's a more sustainable option. So yes, it is considered an acceptable mode, and the option should show up when you choose to what mode you did your commute by. Um, if there are any other questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A section. Um, can you go through again how to add people registered in your various? Um, yes. Shoni, I might connect with you afterwards to answer your specific question, just because I actually need to refresh my own knowledge of how it gets a little bit different when you get into subnetworks. So let me just write that down and I will get you an answer for that. All right. Yes, I know. Sometimes I think I know all of the sort of ins and outs of the platform, and then somebody asks me a question, and I'm like, oh, actually, I don't know how to do that off the top of my head. But um, thank goodness we also have Mel in our office, who is an amazing fount of knowledge when it comes to everything Go Manitoba. So yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to throw them in the chat there or in the Q&A section. I also don't want to keep people, um, long past their, I don't want to keep you into too much of your lunch break. If I'm not seeing any questions. And of course, you can always feel free to email me or email that Go Happy email. If I'm in the office, it will make its way to me. If it's during the challenge week, it will make its way to folks who have lots of excellent knowledge to share about the commuter challenge. Um, so I'll just do one quick last share here. Because I want to thank our incredible sponsors who we could not run this challenge without. So, Tire Stewardship, Blue Cross, IGM Wealth Management, Manitoba Hydro, Cinnamon Credit Union. A big shout out to them for supporting this great challenge and supporting people commuting sustainably, both for our own health and for the health of the planet. So if I'm not seeing any more questions, I'm going to end this here. And this recording is available. So if you, in a couple days are like, oh, I forget how to do that, I'm going to get this up as quick as possible. So thank you so much, for being here, folks, and have a great rest of your day.